All right, Samsung Galaxy S21 side-by-side honest review. I am not going to compare specs on these phones because I don't give a crap about the specs. What I care about is user experience and why you would decide to pick either the S21 or the S21 Ultra, and what the experiences are like for both of them. So I've been using these phones for about a week. Both of them, actually. They both have the exact same sort of software on them. They both have the same apps loaded. And so I kind of pick and choose each device just depending on what mood I'm in, to sort of feel what it's like to own both phones. Now, again, specs are an important part of your decision. For example, you want the latest and greatest phone so that it lasts the longest in terms of software updates and that sort of thing. But like gigs and cores and megapixels, like, it doesn't matter. It comes down to how fluid and how good the phone is in your hand. I will say, upon using both of these, they both pretty much feel the same in terms of their software, and in terms of the fluidness of the software, and in terms of just the overall user experience in terms of how I use the phone in my day-to-day use. Now, I will say that the screen on the S21 Ultra noticeably better than the S21. You can sort of see it here in this side-by-side just in terms of the quality of some of these images, and just the color accuracy and the color reproduction on both of them. The screens are just subtly different in terms of how they look. And so from a standpoint of, visually appealing and the fact that you use your phone and you look at your phone all the time, S21 Ultra is definitely a much, much nicer phone to look at. The larger screen is also, to me, it's a nicer fit and feel. Like, as much as I can't fit this phone in my hand, the S21 Ultra, because my hands are too small, I tend to gravitate towards picking it up more often. And I think it's just because of the sheer size. And so the size of the phone, or excuse me, the size of the screen in conjunction with the quality of the screen, just to me really makes it a better user experience and a nicer phone to pick up. And it's also the weight and balance of it too. It just feels solid in your hand and it feels like a very high quality device. I tend to pick this up more often to use. But when I think about my day-to-day activities and carrying the phone in my pocket and being able to use the phone one-handed in sort of real-world use when I'm at work or whatever, I tend to like the size of the S21 better. It just fits my sort of lifestyle and my usability better for me. And I have smaller hands. But those are the two sort of biggest stark differences between the two phones, are just the size of them. The other difference in the screen sort of or app-based stuff is that the S21 Ultra will take advantage of the S Pen, so you can write on there and either do doodles or take notes. That's a cool feature to have. Definitely something that's enjoyable if you are an artist or if you have a use for the S Pen. The S21 standard will not take that. Both phones do support 5G. They both have this terrible Gorilla Glass back, which feels and looks like plastic, sounds very much like plastic. The texture of plastic, I guess the only thing that's good about it is it won't scratch and you won't get fingerprints, but it's going to have the durability of glass, which means it's going to break if you drop it, but it looks and feels and acts like plastic. So go figure on that one. You do have another set of lenses here on the S21 Ultra that gives you the ability to have a wider range of focal lengths in your photos, as well as a higher megapixel count on the images. And I will also say the camera in the S21 Ultra is actually better than the S21. I've gotten more consistent, better results out of the S21 camera, the S21 Ultra camera than the S21. They're close. I wouldn't say this is a bad camera. I get better results more often on the S21 Ultra. Those are the biggest differences I see between them. The other huge difference is price, right? You're looking at about $750 unlocked versus like $1,200 unlocked. That's a big, big difference in price. And is it worth that? That's up to you. To me, it's not. I mean, to me, I get a good camera, I get a snappy phone, I get 5G, I get a phone that fits in my hand easily. I don't need, 15 cores and 28 gigs of RAM and an S Pen compatible screen. Like, I just don't use that, right? And so I'm not going to drop the extra $300 on the bigger phone when it just doesn't meet my needs as a user. So for you, really what I would say is if you have the money and you have the means and you want the latest, greatest, and you have the hands to fit the S21 Ultra, I would go ahead and get it because it's an awesome device and you'll really like it and you'll really enjoy the functionality and you'll probably enjoy the phone tremendously. If you're on a budget but you still want the latest phone, you know, this is a very, very solid choice. I mean, I would prefer to carry this around than I would prefer that. And so I think, you know, it's an easy pick for me to go with the S21 versus the S21 Ultra. And hopefully this will lend some helpful information for you as well. So don't forget to check out everything I have on YouTube. Rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. Thanks.